Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the FTD webinar titled, What is SEO? Learn the Basics of Search Engine Optimization. With a combined 15 years of marketing experience, we are excited to welcome today's featured presenters, marketing consultants Carly Stroud and Cameron Archibald. As a quick housekeeping note, Carly and Cameron will be taking questions throughout the session. So if you have a question, simply type it in the chat box in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. All right, let's get started. Welcome, Carly and Cameron.
Thank you so much for having us. All right, everybody, we're so happy to be here today. To get that chat box warmed up, I have a burning question for all of you. So if you would, please, just a simple yes or no in the chat box. If you have ever typed a question into Google, a simple yes or no through to the chat box. I'd love to see what everyone's usage. Big yes, big yes. From Tina. Anybody else? I know you guys have used Google. Yep. Looks like we've got an overwhelming yes on the Google search. And it does look like Cameron is muted again. So I'm going to let him get unmuted and throw it over to him. Google rules. You are right. Yes, it does. We're so excited to talk to you today about search engine marketing, and I'm going to throw it over to Cameron.
Hello, everyone. We will, in this call today, we will discuss SEO. We will talk about the, current agenda today. Obviously, is what is SEO and why does it matter, and how to improve quality traffic to your website. The next slide there. This is a slide of data that tells us, what the importance of having a website and having, search engine marketing and SEO working for you. 97% of people learn more about a local company online than anywhere else. 78% of local mobile searches result in offline purchases, so they can't always be tracked. 50% of mobile searches looking for a local business will visit the store within 1 day. So it's important when someone is searching for you to be found. So that's what we're going to discuss today.
Absolutely. There's our next slide.
Yep.
If you have a website that you are currently using, drop in the chat how you are, if you are able to measure traffic. Again, yes or no, you can measure traffic, or yes, I have a website. No, I don't have a website. Drop that in the chat for me. The first one is Google Analytics, Cameron. That's my favorite thing to see. Thanks, Helena. Yes, Google Analytics. Oh, we've got some advanced people on this call. Oh, I'm very excited to keep going here. Google Analytics. All right. Google rules. Analytics and GMB. I love it. So we've got some people who are tracking and just signed up for Google as well. We've got some people who are tracking. So this is going to be great information for them to see an uptick in their website traffic.
Absolutely. So here, what is search engine optimization? It means the process of improving your website to increase visibility and organic ranking on search engine results pages, or what we like to call the SERP for short. So what makes up the different search results in Google particularly? We have what's called paid advertising or placement, which would be the first screenshot there. Towards the bottom, you can see, there's certain imagery in there, and it may say ads next to it. So that would be the paid version of your search results. Different versions, another version of a search result would be what we like to call local maps or Google Maps, or the map pack, which is essentially you're searching still in Google, you're not searching in Google Maps, but you do get Google Maps results in this area. And typically it'll show just the first 3 that are ranking there. So that does have, that incorporates your GMB results, but also ties in closely to what we like to call organic listings, or what we also call the blue links, or what used to be, the majority, 5-10 years ago, this was the only option, the screenshot on the right. But now, we're seeing a lot more interaction in the search results, with the local map pack and the paid search results. So Today we're going to discuss more about the listings and map pack and the organic rankings. I just wanted to highlight the differences of those.
Absolutely. We'll go to the next slide. I don't see any questions in the chat quite yet, but if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in and I will relay them to Cameron as we go.
So with the screenshots we saw earlier, we have the paid advertising and what we like to call search engine optimization or organic listings. So this slide is showing, what the differences of those are. Why would you do one over the other? But in general, we do see much more performance and results by doing both because they have, their own place. So SEO are, again, those organic and local map search results we saw earlier, and they are typically come up with, location-based searches or someone looking for, something, more longer tail, what we like to call, pieces that are, they're doing some research, they might come up with an article or a blog with the answer to their question. Next, it creates a long-term website authority, meaning, if your website is robust, if it's larger, if it has lots of content, has lots of imagery there, Google will look at it and essentially rank it, saying, this is an authoritative website, it's good quality, so I'm going to reward it for that. Next, it continues to positively impact your business over time. So, you can run slow. SEO is generally a little bit slower to get going. I like to, share an example of like a pot of boiling water. It can take a while, especially if you're standing there waiting for it to actually get boiling. But once you turn the oven off, the stove off, it can actually take some time to actually get cool. So with PPC or paid search advertising, it's a little bit different. I like to think of it as more like a light switch. You turn it on, you have a certain budget and you turn it on, and it you expect it to work fairly quickly. But when you turn it off, you stop paying for it, it goes away pretty quickly as well. So it's good to have both.
Cameron, we do have a question in the chat. As far as owning search engine optimization, is that something that the business owners themselves can and should be doing, or should we leave it up to our marketing people? And Helena, if you can clarify who your marketing people are, I think that'll help drive the answer, but I'll let Cameron start to answer there.
Yeah. So it can generally be up to you, if you have the bandwidth, you have the time as a business owner to do some of the things that we're going to talk about here in the next few slides about what to do with SEO, what things to optimize, what content to create. Then sure, there are some business owners that do it themselves or in-house. Again, but we're in a marketing agency that can help, definitely take that, bandwidth, off your shoulders, and it can definitely help you with that. And they have much more experience, working in the field, like Carly and I.
Yeah, she replied and she said she has a guy who's doing her Google pay-per-click, her search advertising. So she might not even be utilizing SEO at all so far. So I think absolutely that'd be a question you can take to your guy and see if he can help with that. But we do have some tips and tricks that we'll show you as well, if that's something you yourself would like to own as well.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. That's the only question we have so far. So we'll go to the next slide here.
So this is just showing simply, kind of what we briefly discussed is that, if you have paid or search advertising with SEO, you see much more lift in your performance in your campaigns if you're running both. This says 89% incremental lift in clicks when both paid and organic links appear on the first page of search results.
Yeah. Cameron, I myself have a question that I know you can answer. What exactly does SEO influence?
Yeah, so really, like we shared in the first few slides, people, are searching for something and they're looking for an answer. They're trying to buy flowers. And so when they search those things like florist near me, buy flowers online, you're going to find, the website that you're looking for. And so hopefully, yours is coming up first. But the next steps, outside of, your website traffic and getting people to your website, what we do as a marketing agency is help those people that are answering questions or doing research, get more visibility on your website. And next, it can also help, what we talked about earlier, paid search advertising, they influence each other. So if you're running a paid campaign, it's important that your website is also, based well, has a good foundation in SEO, so the paid can perform well. Next is placement and map-based search results. We discussed earlier the local map pack. So good SEO also influences your Google Maps searches. Lastly, brand trust and competitive differentiation. So, when someone clicks on your website or clicks on Google Maps, they want to see, a website that's, looks well, and is designed well, has the content and links that they're looking for. But also even on Google Maps, is it filled out? Is there a phone number? Is there an address? Does it look like someone's active on there? So those are the things that people like to see. And then ultimately, lastly, you want leads from, your SEO and your maps rankings, with calls and visits from local customers.
And Cameron, we've got two actually really good questions in the chat here. The first is it worth paying for someone to do SEO? And she asks because she has done it for a few years, but she's not quite ranked first or on top in Google. And the company says it's because she's younger than the others without as many reviews. She's also got a large chain who is competing in the area. So do we have any advice on sticking with it? I know SEO is one of those hurry up and wait type solutions. So any advice you would have for her on sticking it out and making sure that it begins to work for her?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to answer that, without seeing the website, but yes, you are going to compete, like you said, with a much larger chain. It can be difficult, or with, businesses that have been around longer or have more reviews. There's always going to be that challenge. And so you do have to, like you said, Carly, to kind of hurry up and wait. But, are there some things that you could do, maybe even, that goes hand in hand with SEO? Maybe you can ramp up the social media, maybe you can ramp up the PPC to help assist the performance of the SEO. Talking about the reviews, can you, put a link to the reviews more prominently on your website? Can you put a sign up, at your door, at your business, encouraging people to leave a review? Could you, start an email campaign and encourage those people, that you have a relationship with to leave reviews as well, or after purchase, you stay in contact with them to leave a review. So there are those things that you can help, ramp up the SEO there.
Yeah, for sure. And then the second question is essentially, can active SEO management compete with paid search, or does it have to be both? Do we have to run both to get those first coveted placements on the SERP?
Yeah, you don't have to run both. I have several clients that, don't, run, one or the other, but it's highly encouraged to run both if you can. Again, we've discussed that, you're going to see the most lift by running both.
Agreed. And then, all right, that's all the questions that there are in the chat right now. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the aspects of SEO.
Okay. So a few of the factors, this is just a few, but what is it that you can do either as a business owner or, the agencies that you may be working with? What are the tactics to, make your website perform better? So first would be, relevant titles and descriptions on the website pages. So we're going to go into that a little bit more on the next slide. But generally, that's speaking, it's what you see in the search results is, in the blue links are the titles, and then the description down below is the meta description, and we'll go into more details about each of those. Mobile friendly website, a good majority, more often than not, are searching from the mobile phone. Depending on the industry, it can be more than desktop searches. So it's important that it be mobile friendly. And Google itself has stated that they index websites from the mobile version and not the desktop version. So it's important that you don't have two different separate versions. It's important to have the same version. All the content that you find on the desktop, you should be able to find on mobile as well. Next, page load speed. It's important that your website loads quickly. Google has said that if the website doesn't load faster than 3 seconds, people are going to jump. They just are impatient and they want to find a fast website. So that is something that the SEO teams do work on. And then next is business info consistent across directories. So this influences heavily on your maps rankings, but it can influence as well your organic rankings. So directories meaning like Google Maps, Apple Maps, Bing, Yelp, Facebook, all those directories need to be consistent with the same address, phone number, etc. For Google to have that trust in your business. Updated Google My Business listing, similarly to the bullet point above. Is the business information accurate? Are there photos, whether it's storefront, whether it's indoors, outdoors, team photos, those kinds of things can definitely help influence the rankings. Product, service, and geographic keywords. So this is more on the website. Do you have, what types of flowers do you sell? Do you sell birthday flowers? Do you sell fall flowers? Do you sell, sympathy? So make sure that those keywords are on the website. You have pages dedicated to those, as well as your location. Miami, Florida, Tampa, Florida, any of those locations. It's important to have that in there, so Google knows where your website is and what it's about. Lastly, name, address, phone number we mentioned, and then quality links to your website from external sources. So this is what we like to call backlinks. So meaning where someone's writing a blog about flowers that they purchased and they're linking to your website. That's essentially a vote for your website. So the more quality links you have like that, it's going to help influence your rankings.
We've got 2 questions in the chat. The first one is very interesting. So we have a florist who works on delivery only and works out of their home, and they don't publish their address online. Will that limit their ranking or the number of hits they get to their website? And how can we work around the specific address portion to make sure we're still showing up?
Yep. You can definitely set, Google Maps as a service area business. Lots of businesses do, such as plumbers, etc. It is much more difficult to rank if you don't have a physical location. Just unfortunately, that's just the name of the game. It's not impossible to rank well. It is much more difficult. I would personally not focus on, like you said, on the maps ranking as much because you only have a service area. I would more focus on the website itself, making sure, you have to kind of find different avenues to help perform. And one of those would be, like a resource section or a blog that really answers a lot of people's questions where you can get more traffic.
Perfect. And then also wondering, is there a list of relevant keywords already made available to FTD, or are there resources that we can share for people to come up with keywords?
Yes, and I don't have it right now. A particular dedicated list of keywords that to go after. Every website is different, every location is different. An SEO team would do that research. What are the keywords that your website's already ranking for, and what are the keywords that you want to go after. It may be different for every business owner. Hey, I'm really, I'm not performing well for birthday flowers. What can I do to help influence that. That's what I really want to sell. Those types of answers and questions that we would find out, and then we can go from there. You know, what you're missing and what it is that you want to go after.
And I would add to that too, putting yourself into your client's shoes, you know, taking your business owner hat off and putting your shopper hat on, thinking of what you yourself would search is also a great place to start if you're going to do it on your own. You know, looking for specific things, kind of taking the specific florist terms out and acting like you have nothing, you know, you don't know anything about flowers other than I need an arrangement, or, you know, things like that can definitely help you find a vision and a good place to start with your keywords. And then we have another question that came through. We've got someone who wants to start a blog, and they've got the original FTD website. Is it better to have the blog as a part of the website, and Heidi, as opposed to hosting it on a different platform? Is that what you mean by that? Is it better to have your blog be a part of your website? Yes. Okay. Sorry, I had a couple.
Yeah. The answer is yes. You should have it. You know, typically you'd see a domain.com/blog as where your blog would live. That would be the ideal. I know it may depend on your platform. You know, some platforms don't allow that, and then, you know, the next best solution would be like blog dot whatever your domain name is. And that would be, you know, the next step. And there's plenty of sites out there too that, you know, you do have to build your own blog on a separate site. You know, that's not ideal because you're going to lose that in what we talked about earlier, you know, website authority. You're essentially splitting, you know, any potential backlinks and things like that and authority between two different sites. But it's not impossible either.
Perfect. And then also for anyone who's not monitoring the chat, blogs are available through FTD's new Mercury online websites, just for everyone's information here. And I do believe that is all of our questions for now. So we will go ahead and move on to some examples and such.
So as I mentioned earlier, kind of what is a title tag, what is a meta description? So this screenshot here on the right, shows kind of, you know, a couple of examples, you know, millefleurs, Miami, Florida florist. So that includes, you know, keywords that, you know, they want to rank for: Miami, Florida, florist, and then their business name. And then ProFlowers does it a little bit differently, but it's okay. You know, they mentioned flower delivery, order flowers online, ProFlowers. And then the screenshot below that just shows an example of what ProFlowers looks like in the browser tab. So you can see, you know, some of it is cut off there, but it shows, you know, as you hover over, it shows the rest. So what that influences, of course, is Google looks at, you know, what it is you're trying to rank for, and what your business name is, and it's important to have that in the title tag. And next is the meta description. So, you know, the description or sentence just below that, you know, you really want to mention, you know, you can still mention your business name again, any relevant keywords such as florist, what area you serve, and then, you know, a good call to action, what we like to call, you know, what it is that you can offer that should entice someone to click, that would be reading that. You know, millefleurs, you know, they mentioned providing amazing European style design for an upscale clientele. So that would be, you know, that's what they're looking for, and that's who they want to serve. You know, so they want someone that's reading that to be interested in that product. And then ProFlowers mentions, you know, wide selection of flower arrangements with same day delivery. So that's kind of a call to action, like, oh, you know, that's enticing, you know, I want that same day delivery. So what, you know, you want to think about, you know, what call to actions can you provide, even if it may be like, shop at our store today, we have discounts, such and such, coupons, or simply just, you know, call us today at this number, you know, can be really enticing to someone.
We have got another chat for you, Cameron. This one is technical. I think you're going to have fun with it. Wondering about external links and how we can improve them.
So there's a few different avenues to take with that. One is to really just produce, amazing content, whether it be a blog, whether it be just, the service level pages, make it as unique as possible and make it very engaging, very in-depth. And, someone will see that and say, oh, I really like this article, I'm going to share it. So someone may share it on their own website, may share it on social media. So that's one avenue to really gain your backlinks. And that's the most natural way you can. Another avenue that we do, as an agency is to, we outreach to other industry related sites that, wouldn't be a competitor, but that would be industry related. And we simply say, hey, we found something along the lines of, hey, we found, this article that mentions us. Can you please provide a backlink for that or a link to our website if they've already mentioned you? And then another would be, hey, we want to, hey, we want to write a blog for you. Would that be okay? For, you can offer it for free. And you can say, if we write this article, would you provide a link back to our website, as a source? So there's those different methods that we utilize. So it's certainly up to you which way you want to go.
Perfect. Oh, we got a long one. Hold on just a second. Okay. When you search your business name in a city you are in, so within the city you live in or you're physically in on Google, is there a sentence or two written about the business and how do you change that information to update it and write a current sentence or two?
Yeah, so that's, go ahead, Carter.
No, I was just making sure I got the rest of the question.
Okay. Yeah, so I believe you're talking about the meta description that we've discussed here, kind of in that sentence there. I will iterate that you do have control of it within your website backend, that you can change that sentence. But there are occasions that Google simply changes it to what they feel is the best. They want people to visit your website as much as you do. So they may change it to depending on the query. If it's someone searched for flowers, someone searched for, birthday flowers or anything along those lines, that Google may change it to either that specific page instead of the homepage, and then they may change the meta description to where it may be, the first few sentences of the paragraph, or even a couple paragraphs down, they may change it to what's most relevant to that search query. So unfortunately, you can't always control it, but it's important to put one there if you can, and then without it being, duplicated across the site. That's what we want to avoid. We want to make sure that, in the worst case scenario, that all the meta descriptions are different for each page, and it's targeted to what that page is about. Hopefully that answers your question.
And that is it for now. So we'll move on to our next slide here and start to wrap up.
So next steps, what we do in a campaign we kind of talked about earlier is, what are the relevant keywords? What is it that, my website needs to do? So it comes down to, a little bit customized, what are your business needs? What is it that you want to rank for? And then our teams would do the keyword research and also look at your competitors, what it is that they're performing well for. And does it tie in with your business? Next would be suggest additional customizations to boost your site's performance. That could be what we talked about earlier, like page speed is low, is your website mobile friendly? Do you have good imagery? Those types of things. Next, adapt based on your individual needs and existing digital access. So again, kind of what we discussed, that every website's different. So
no questions just quite yet, and then we will hit our last page here.
So one of the big drivers for SEO performance outside of those technical things that we discussed is content. 76% of small business marketers said content creation is the most effective SEO task. So what we do for content, we look at pages that, if they're too similar, we would want to combine them or potentially redirect them. We would look at pages that are underperforming, look at how we can make them improve, or make sure they're still relevant for the website, and if we need to remove them. And then again, we discussed, add meta titles, meta descriptions, and more, so search engines can easily find and understand your site. And lastly, ultimately, if we add pages to your site, we want to monitor them, make sure that they're performing well. And it's not always the case that they perform, the way we had hoped, but you can certainly go in and revamp them, improve them, update them to make it perform going forward.
Absolutely. I am not seeing any more questions in the chat. I'll give it just a minute or two. If anyone is interested in learning more about SEO through FTD, please feel free to reach out to your field account manager for more information. They would be happy to provide you with all the necessary information to get started with optimizing your search engine optimization. And, this is one really good last question here for you, Cameron. Is it okay that different pages perform differently throughout the year? For example, during the holidays, is that all right?
Yeah, that's to be expected, especially with, flowers, whether it be, holidays and birthdays, you can have a traffic influx there. I have many clients in different industries that they're very seasonal, and they may get a lot of traffic in the spring and not so much in the summer, etc. That's really, trends are trends, and you can't really control that necessarily. But we can look year over year, quarter over quarter, how are things performing in comparison to last spring, in comparison to last summer. So that's kind of how we gauge the performance.
She says, thank you. And I just want to verify if a page is not as active, say in the spring, it's the Christmas flowers, anything like that, that Google is not going to lose trust and rank those pages low, for example, because they're not performing in the spring. It's not going to have any effect on when it's time for them to perform.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. I believe that is it. I'm going to monitor this chat for just a few more seconds here, just to make sure nothing else comes through. But thank you everyone so much for your time today. We really appreciated all the questions and all of the engagement in the chat.
Yes, thanks, Carly and Cameron, for sharing a lot of great information with us. Yes, do please keep an eye on the chat in case something pops in. But otherwise, we want to thank everyone else for attending as well. A lot of great questions in there today. A recording of this will be available on demand on the FTD Mercury Network Florist YouTube channel. You will get an email from us tomorrow with a PDF of the PowerPoint slides, the link to that recording, and all the stuff you're looking for. And for more education programming from FTD, visit ftdi.com to register for upcoming free webinars and design shows, as well as to view past education programs on demand. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.